to tell people that classic cars are terrible.
We have news for you people. Classic cars, with a caveat, generally are shit. Hate to burst your bubble, but they're really not that good to drive. There's nostalgia, there's a lot to love. But if you're getting into a classic car, if you've just made a few quid and you think, right, I'm going to go and buy the car that, my dad had when I was young or anything like that, just be aware there's a very strong possibility that you're going to be disappointed with the drive because they're not good. I mean, you drive an old Ford Escort, and then you go back, you go further back, you drive cars from the 50s to 60s, and you just want to get out, don't you?
Yeah, they're very, very slow. Yeah, they are charming,
Yeah, they have a.
and you can appreciate them in a certain way, but don't expect too much.
I've got a much better idea. Just buy a
Mm,
massive glass box, put it in the glass box, put it
mm,
in your garden, and look at it.
yeah,
Preserve it for all time and look at it. Or resto mod it, make
mm,
it nice to drive, make it safe.
yeah,
Um, and look, I do think that there's plenty of beardy weirdy anoraks,
mm,
present company included,
yeah,
who can fly the flag and restore things to their natural state, never drive them. And those are the people that are going to preserve them for years to come.
mm,
I'm not one of those people. I want a car to drive well, I want to enjoy it. And a car built 50, 60 years ago does feel like a 50, 60-year-old car.
yeah.
And really, the progression in cars over the last 10, 15 years has been exponential compared to the previous 15, 20 years. Yeah, anybody that's passed their test in the last 10 years, 15 years, that then gets in a classic car is just going to absolutely hate it.
Yeah. No,
So,
well, that's as I told you yesterday. I passed my test in 1948, and things were very, very different then. Very different.
you passed your test in 78, and I passed my test in 93.
Yeah, there you go.
And that's a big jump from 78 to 93.
It
I
is.
was thinking about this. I mean, in 1993, you didn't really see that many cars running around built in 73, did you?
No, because cars didn't last very long. I don't think people appreciate that
Yeah.
now. No, in that if you
But
saw,
now,
yeah, 10-year-old cars. Yeah,
yeah, I mean, in 2025, there's lots of 2005 cars running
yeah,
around.
yeah.
In fact, I've got two on the driveway.
Mm,
I've got a 55 plate and a no 7 plate on the drive.
yeah,
And they're both brilliant cars, both perfectly capable of doing thousands of
mm,
miles and lasting a lot longer.
yeah.
But in 93, nobody really drove 20-year-old cars as a daily, did they? Very few.
No, yeah. I mean, because of my experiences in the 1970s, yeah, you did have 60s cars, but they were absolutely worn out. You see, when I got my Mini, which was 15 years old, I mean, it was barely MOTable. I mean, it was in such a state, and that's cars that lasted 10 years. That was it. They got thrown away. And I mean, a good example is my dad, who used to drive around the country in the 1950s, and he had a Triumph Mayflower, and he said he had it for 2 years. It was virtually new when he got it, and because he was like a traveling salesman, he wore it out. He said, after 2 years, it was absolutely finished. It was just like they would just brush it into a corner because it was rusty, and it was a couple of years old car, but they were awful, awful things after that. And so, yeah, a lot of 60s and 70s cars. So, yeah, in the 70s, you would have some 60s cars, but actually, it was just earlier 70s cars because, yeah, after 5, 6 years in normal use, they were getting tired. So there you go, folks. Yeah, don't have any rose tinted, feelings
Yeah.
about people cherishing cars, and also people never cared about cars really, because the classic car movement was really going on about Austin Healey's. It didn't really come until the 70s really, and then before that you had veteran and vintage, and that was a completely different period in time anyway.
You also said yesterday that classic cars from the 50s and 60s are bombing in value and nobody wants them anymore.
Yeah, it seems to be that way because that's just the way things are, in that all the people that would want them are dead
It's
or in a home.
yeah,
Um,
that's into my generational theory. I
yeah,
think that people, classic cars go in waves.
they do.
So anybody, generally people sort of start making money between the age of 30 and 50. That's when people
Yeah.
make money. So you can see the arc of the classic cars and what becomes popular, because it's when somebody gets to, let's say they're 40, so that's 20, a car built 25 years before, that's what their dad or mom was probably driving, and that's probably what inspired them. So yeah, that's really where it goes. So if you want to see what the next trend is, look at cars that were built 25 years ago, wait for people to make money. If nobody makes any money, if there's no prosperity, then obviously the prices stay down because nobody wants them.
No.
Or can't afford them. So really, it depends on economic prosperity. It's going to be an interesting few years, I think. You're right as well about the electric cars.
No one's going to
have a yeah. I think what you'll see happening in years to come is like these PHEVs now. So they've got plenty of new technology, and they've got all the battery packs, they've got the electric motors and everything else. I think resto mod of current cars in 20 years' time, I think you'll see people taking all the electric stuff, the battery stuff out, and just running them as petrol cars. Because it's all that stuff, all the electric stuff that you don't actually need to make the car go. That's going to be the stuff that's really expensive to replace, that doesn't get manufactured anymore, that becomes obsolete because it's tech. I mean, engine will run for years and years and years, but tech, as we know, gets replaced all the time, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, I mean, your phone is obsolete within 12 months.
Yeah. No, I saw somebody talking about that online, just sort of saying, yeah, there's, YouTube videos of somebody with a 50-year-old diesel that hasn't run, and yeah, it'll run. It will. You can
well
into running. 50-year-old battery car will be deader than disco. It'd be great. But so in 20 years' time, future-proof cars, that's what, I'll be dead in 20 years' time. So what you'll be doing, Bradley, is you'll be reviving battery cars by putting engines in them. You and Alan, that's what you will be doing.
Alan will have a go at anything. He loves it.
Yeah.
The classic car thing, there's a sweet spot with it. And did you say that classic cars have to be 40 years old now?
Yeah, you've got to be 40 years old in order to be registered as a historic car on your V5.
So that's 1985, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's going to get interesting when we get to 1990.
Yeah.
There's some very good cars built between 85 and 90.
Well, let's see if we get there. I don't know. I don't know whether we will.
Don't think we'll get 5 years down the line.
No.
Please like and subscribe.